today, Coach?
A little sluggish, I thought, today. Hard practice, physical, tough, etc. Wore down a little bit at the end, but practiced hard.
You ran them pretty good yesterday?
Ran them just a normal Monday. Did a little bit increased volume today, and so yeah, toward the end I thought they wore down a little bit.
How's your guys' injury situation?
It's good from what I know. Nothing new to report from what it was, I think, after the game. You guys can verify that with Kevin.
Coach, quick question about Travis Uwale. How's he been doing this season?
He's great. He's getting us in the right defenses a lot. I think we played 2 relatively consistent defensive games, and he has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and one last question on him. We hear he's a DJ and goes by, or he has a, I can't remember his
DJ Kid.
Yeah, DJ Kid.
What term of endearment?
Couldn't tell you. Maybe we ought to have him mix for us, and then we could decide ourselves. I don't know. I've never heard him.
Can you kind of assess the running back's performance after 2 weeks? You mentioned you need to get the running game going.
Yeah, I'd like to see us run more physically. I'd like to see us run more downhill, and I think that's going to be imperative to having the balance we need. So not so much just around people, but through people.
Did the practice start well and kind of fall apart? Did you guys get sluggish?
Didn't fall apart. Just it was hard. It was a hard practice and got tired at the end.
Disappointed in that due to who you're playing this week?
Not disappointed at all. I mean, we had high expectations for him today, and we all probably would have been tired at the end of today's practice.
Do you feel like the focus is there mentally from this team right now?
Yeah, the focus is there mentally.
Can you possibly summarize what the Reynolds brothers have meant to this program?
The first game against Ole Miss was just kind of the legacy continued. They're playing side by side and really did a nice job. And there's 4 of them plus the father, and all end up being starters. And I think all have had a chance to go on and play, at least have an opportunity in the NFL, that's pretty remarkable.
Utah's receivers had a pretty good day against USC. Is that a big concern?
I think they have a nice receiving core. Number 10 is really a good player, and they have capable receivers elsewhere too. So I think that's just part of what they do.
2 games now with Hebron. You can break down how he's performed.
Really a pleasant surprise, probably performing, if not at the highest level of any D lineman, at least equal to that.
Can you talk about Joe Sampson, the job he's done?
Joe Sampson is doing a nice job and rotating with Preston Hadley, and I think our boundary corners are playing at a higher level than our boundary corners did a year ago, just through game 2.
How's Jamison Frazier doing?
Jamison Frazier's doing well. He'll continue to play more and more, and I think it's going to be essential that both he and Jaden Wagner play more as hard as our outside linebackers are playing.
Did Spencer Hadley earn more playing time? Assuming Brandon Ogletree comes back, did Spencer play well enough?
Spencer, yeah, he played really well and earned a lot of trust, and so he might end up playing Buck some and Brandon Ogletree at Mike if Wona gets tired, but you could see a 3-player rotation there pretty easily. We haven't decided yet, but he played really well.
Practice-wise, do you try and ramp up the intensity as the week goes on, or have you thought about that?
We have more physical practices. Today was the most physical practice, and it ends up becoming less physical as the week goes on and get healthier and faster, hopefully by game day.
Can you talk about what this game means as far as in-state recruiting and the importance of it?
Well, I think it has an influence on in-state recruiting. But again, the types of players, the number of players we recruit against the University of Utah just really aren't that many. There's a handful each year, but they're usually 2 different type of players. And they fit different systems and they fit different schools.
Were any of the Kruger brothers guys you tried to recruit?
Mm-hmm. We tried to recruit both Paul and David, wanted both of them.
Would you disagree or agree that this game means more to the U with the shift of Pac-12 and all that?
I think it means the same as it's always meant. At least that's my perspective. Just because you put a tag of a conference or independence by either school's name, I don't think that changes.
Does the week feel any different to you?
Yeah, it feels a lot different.
Really?
I mean, it doesn't feel right. It feels like the game is being played about 8 weeks too early. Doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, might as well just say it. I don't like it, but I mean, we'll play it, but it's a lot better at the end. That's when a rivalry is supposed to be played.
A year ago, you said that you'd never had a recruit bring up conference affiliation, in the living room or whatever.
True.
Has that changed over the past year with
Hasn't changed at
Utah's
all.
deal?
Haven't heard it yet.
Would you like the game to be the first of the season?
I'd like it to be the last game of the season, period. And that's when it's supposed to be played. I mean, it's just, I don't know what else to tell you. You can ask me a number of other ways, but it's the last game is when it's supposed to be played.
Will you continue to go by the Band of Brothers t-shirt every game this year as long as you're the defensive
That's
coordinator?
how I started a year ago, and it was done for a reason, and that's kind of between me and the team, but I don't, it's not the most popular shirt from what I understand, but I'm not so concerned about that.
Is it the same exact shirt or a different kind?
I don't know. I have like a whole rack of them in there that I've saved up, so I don't put a mark on it to see like which one it was.
By restricting interviews, are you rewarding people or protecting them? Or
I'm basically just trying to make sure that our team can focus as much as they can just on playing the game. And it's hard enough just as soon as they leave outside the fences here because of all the comments. And it's just one less thing they have to deal with, at least on a formal basis.
Utah's got a running back in White. Talk about him, what you see on film.
Fast, physical for his size. And I'm impressed, and he looks like he's got better from game 1 to game 2.
What can you tell us about Utah's defensive line and your impressions?
Haven't watched him yet. I usually don't watch the opponent's defense till Wednesday at least. I'm too busy watching their offense, so I'm not sure. I imagine they'll be about like they've been the past 6 years. I mean, the systems are the same.